she was just like 3. So she really don't even remember. But when you got them like the age of 7 and 9, so they kind of like, on up, they know. So a lot of times divorce is hard on children. And they think sometimes they think it's maybe I'm the reason why mom and daddy broke up,
Mm-hmm.
So the biological parents have to reinforce their love, like you're not the issue. But when you got them beefing with each other, kind of like what Vincent said, they put the child in the middle. Now here you got this, okay, so here comes this stepfather, just trying to, fit into this blended family and then told one side of stuff. They can create a lot of more confusion, okay, with that situation. But I've learned also from being a stepfather, to kind of step back too. Just because you're there every day, let that biological father, he need his time. You know what I mean? Step back. And a lot of times stepfathers make a mistake, like they try to overpower the situation because they're there every day, or they're based on what this woman probably done told them about this man. So that creates that drama and confusion. So like y'all was saying, man, we gotta put it We gotta put our egos to the side and focus and make sure this child, you know what I mean? Because that's what we caught in the midst of it, bro.
Well, unfortunately, the child gets forgotten about. When the parents get ready to come together and have a divorce, they don't sit down and ask that child, how do you feel that we're going to get a divorce? How do you feel that we separate? They just make the decision. Then they communicate with the child after the decision has already been made. So they don't really pick up the pieces to deal with the aftermath, because at the same time, because you know why? Divorces are ugly. Separations are ugly. Split ups are not pretty. So you're not really going to think about how does this child feel in the midst of me being angry, upset, having to start my life over again, you know what I mean, having to possibly fix my credit, right? Depending on what the situation is or how bad it was. So you got all these other things on your mind, and this little child, you thinking, well, they're too young to understand, or they're old enough to already know what's going on. They've seen it. So we assume that they're going to be okay, and we assume that they're fine, and we just go on with our life. Then here comes new person, right? Without talking to the child, without communicating with this child, and then we just all of a sudden we rip apart what they knew, and then bring something else, and then get mad at them when they don't fully accept that's something else. Well, you haven't even communicated with me on how do I process the stuff that I did know. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I say, though, man, it has to be a concerted effort. It has to be a community within the household, if you will, right? To sit down and say, we want your best interest. We have your best interest at heart. We want what's best for you. Yes, I did get a divorce. Yes, I did move around, but that was best for me. That was best for my situation. Let me sit down and explain adult issues with you for a few minutes. You know what I mean? For a few minutes. But most of the time, we don't do that because we're so caught up in what we're feeling, unfortunately.
Right. I would say two more things that I would like to add to this topic too, man, is before either or get off involved in that situation, right? Do your homework, because I'm like, if the sister got 2 or 3 kids, man, and you step into that picture, that's something for you to look at. Because for one, it's a big responsibility.
Yes.
That's a big responsibility. So the man need to make sure he's prepared for it. He's in a position that he's actually able to handle it. That's right. And also, when you're investigating on that, you're trying to see if this is something that you really want to invest, your time and your energy in, because it could be, you got some of them are just hitting licks. To be honest about it, right? Some of them just trying to find out. I mean, this is a factor too, right? Yes. And this is a before us. We need to look at some of these things, And then after, if you choose that situation, for those that accept that situation, look at your introduction. Is you being brought in at 1:30 in the morning while everybody's still asleep? You know what I mean? Like, because this is going to give a reaction to these children. Whether we think it, if we think it or not, it gives a reaction, it gives an impression. They see you walking down the hall at 2 o'clock in the morning, that impression is going to be in their head forever if they don't know who you are. So these sisters have to be mindful of how you bring this man to your kids, how you bring him to your family, because they have a lot to deal with it as well. And I would like to say those two things.
Definitely a lot. I mean, you're right on point. Go ahead, Brandon.
I agree with that, man. And just like with everything in life, I say everything should be in stages. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like when you dating, getting to know somebody, you date them. And you need to do a background check with some of these men, too, as well. Because, you know, we don't have cases. You know, me and Vincent was talking about this not too long ago, where a couple stepdaddies done killed the kids that wasn't theirs or done touched, you know, and I have a daughter, so this is very close to my heart. I have a lot of female friends I grew up with said their stepdaddies done touched them. So, you know, man, you got to be real mindful who you bring around your children. You know, do your background check on that, too, coming from a different dynamic, kind of like what Vincent is saying, you know. And it made me think about that movie. It's a movie, Daddy Little Girls. Look how hard that man had to fight against the stepdaddy because this woman has brought
planted their seed.
This dude around, you know, and there was just a lot of stuff to come with that. But I want to say also, man, I had stepdaddy in my life. I love my old man. My old man was in my life too, my biological father. But my stepdaddy is a great guy as well, and we still 100 to this day. He taught me a lot of things that my father didn't need to teach me.
Yeah.
So kudos to both of them. You know what I mean?
Shout out
to both of them, bro.
Shout out to all step parents, whether it's a stepfather or a stepmother. Shout out, because honestly, man, taking that challenge on is commendable. Because a lot of times people walk away.
Right.
A lot of times people don't want that challenge. They don't want to put in that work. And as you say, the challenges that come with rearing your own children, let alone someone else's, right? That comes with its own set of challenges. And because, again, there's only so much you can say. There's only so much you're allowed to do if you don't have an understanding, right? I mean, I've seen people fall out, knock down, drag out arguments. Don't talk to my child like that. Don't do that. That's my child. Even though we're married, right? That's my child. Right. You can't talk to my child like that. And so
my child.
you got to figure that out. Now,
there you go.
But that's when it comes to, that's where communication comes. Again, I say it all the time. In this realm of social media and all this stuff, ain't nobody doing enough talking. Not enough talking.
Right.
Not enough communicating. There's too many misunderstandings right now in the realm of this social media. How can we misunderstand each other? There should not be any misunderstanding. You want to have a harmonious, productive household. You want to have a household to where everybody there wants to contribute, not feel like they have to. Not feel like they're being forced into it, but you want to contribute to the betterment of the household, because once they get grown, who's to say that they're going to marry the person that they have children with? They may have a blended family. Right. So we have to set that example. You dig what I'm saying? And set that example. Yes, I'm good.
I said most of them don't. You know, most people don't marry their high school sweetheart. Let's keep it real. It's like what you just hit on. Most people don't. But you thinking like that at the time. But, you know, kind of what you were saying about misunderstanding. I think that it's not so much not having we having a misunderstanding. It's just how we handle it. That's what I think, because we all gonna have miscommunication, misunderstanding sometimes. That's just how we are. Psychology, they call it noise. You know what I mean? So a lot of times that's just a situation, but it's how we handle it. How we gonna beef about this? And like you said, Sheldon, like you said, Sheldon, about my child. You know, it's your child. That's the language you use. This is my child. I'm talking to my child like that. When it's a situation you disagree with, but then when it's something you agree with, you say our. But it really should be our all the time. You know what I mean?
Language.
So we got to change that language. You know what I mean?
It's language. Right. Because how does that person feel, right? Say, I'm coming in, I want to say this, I want to say that, right? Well, you can't say that because of this. You can't say that because of that. Then that creates a rift, right? That creates an issue, because when that situation arises again, then how are you going to handle it? How will you handle it? Will you still be pissed off because it was handled inappropriate the last time? Or will you just lead? No matter what the consequences are, just lead the best way you know how. That's why I say it again, man. Communication, man. Get an understanding. Understanding beats everything, man. There's no misunderstanding when we have an understanding. There's nothing for you to misunderstand.
Right,
bro.
It's been laid out. It's been laid out, man, because everybody comes in here to say, okay, we are here to contribute to the betterment of this household. We are here to contribute to the maximum function of this household. Anything less, man, causes chaos. Anything less causes confusion. Anything less causes that husband and wife to sit up in the bed at night arguing and fussing, still mad and tight.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right, bro. And also being grateful.
Absolutely.
Being grateful.
Absolutely.
Being grateful. Because you got a lot of cases where, man, you got brothers, or the men or the women, they go overboard trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And make sure things are taken care of, but not getting the credit for it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody deserves credit for what they do. And some of these times, man, that, that's not being shown or it's not known. So, in the eyes of that man or that woman, man, they can feel unappreciative. You know what I'm saying?
Peep game, though.
You got women, they can feel unappreciative.
Sometimes,
and then you got the step-parents, but the children looking at that step-parent like, you don't take care of nothing of her.
Yeah.
It's my fault, right? You know what I'm saying? Or this daddy house, like, a lot of those, it's factors, man, that we see out there all the time, and like you said, like both of y'all saying, man, that communication is key.
But a lot of times, though, brother, these people, when we meet people, sometimes they're single for a reason.
Right.
Because that's what I'm saying. As great as we think they may be, or look, or whatever the case may be, let's talk to some of their exes. Man, leave that crazy joke alone.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, everybody gonna have a story, right?
Everybody got a story. See, as you say, we just see one side of the story, and then we take that side of the story, because we're interested in talking to the woman, right? We're not going to be like, you lying. Right. Let me talk to that dude. Especially if you're trying to court him. Oh, well, that's messed up. I'm not going to do you like that. I'm not like that. I'm a good person. Oh, that's messed up. They didn't realize what they had.
Go ahead, Brent. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
I didn't want to lose my train of thought, but I wanted you to say what you were going to say, too. I was just saying about it for those sisters, too, man. And for those sisters that are out there, it is some brothers out there. Y'all need to investigate. Peep in, what's going on. Some of them might have 5 or 6 different baby mamas. You need to ask yourself, is this something that you really want to get into? Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't make them bad. Bad. But that's a lot to factor in when you're trying to get involved with somebody that you plan on living with for the rest of your life, and they got 5 or 6 different kids by 5 or 6 different women. So some of y'all sisters that's going through some of this madness, y'all need to start investigating and looking before you just see the tattoos or whatever it is and the scratch holes and be like, I got me one. You need to really think about it, because once you get your feelings involved, you know what I mean, it changes. The whole story's going to change. If you lay down with King Kong long enough, you'll fall in love with him. You know what I mean? So we have to be careful about our selection. You got to be careful about our
next
selection.
Thing you know, you're on top of the Empire State Building. Swinging at airplanes. Messing with King Kong.
But I want to say, yeah, man, you brothers hitting on the points, but I wanted to, that was a good one right there. But we got to be careful about discipline too. Whether it's verbal or physical. Because I'm gonna speak from my perspective. Like, I have a daughter, and I don't really whoop my daughter. Right. Because that's a girl, and man, I already laid down.
Nobody else whooping either.
This I already know. Man, a dude doesn't know whoop my daughter, bro. Yeah, that's my baby girl. Now she acting up that way, she needs to come stay with me. Now, I'm not saying you can't say nothing to her. I'm not saying that. But a girl and a boy is 2 different things. But because I'm in my child's life, I just don't live with the parent. You know what I mean? So we got to be careful with this stuff, even with a son. You got people kind of going out with Vincent said. Some of these brothers, they might go overboard. Might not even be trying to sometime. Men strength. You whooping hard. And then going back to kind of Vincent said too, if you got these dynamics, the biological dad and the stepdad kind of into it, and then the child can play on that too. We got to watch these children too.
Oh, definitely.
He hit me, you feel me? And bam, there it goes. Somebody get hurt. It's crazy, man. So we got to be real careful and conscious. And I try to practice what I preach. like I said, I got stepchildren, and I'm not